One of the most difficult things for families to understand when they have an alcoholic in their family is approaching their loved one with a rational mindset. When they have a shopping list of grievances against their loved one, and they use that against them. Or they'll say, well, you've lost your job, you've lost your girlfriend, you don't have any way to make money, what are you doing for a living? And on and on. And this is all because of your alcoholism, so you need to do this, this, and this. And the alcoholic, in turn, will look at that as pressure and a misunderstanding of what's really going on. So let's listen further for this. Now, this scenario is really true for if you have a son or a daughter or a spouse, these types of situations. The thing is, the loved one who is the alcoholic will feel a lot of resentment from the pressure from the family. They're not going to see it. They're going to see it more like, well, it's your fault that I'm drinking because you've never supported me and you're giving me all this pressure. You don't understand me. You never knew me. And I don't really have a problem. You're the one that has a problem with my drinking. This is all classic narcissism. And that push-pull isn't going to help the family, certainly not. And it's definitely not going to help the alcoholic because they're going to rebel and go further into isolation and further really into their mental health disease, unfortunately. So what can families do? They want to approach this rationally, so what can they do? Well, in a lot of scenarios, to be honest with you, the best thing to do is just to leave the alcoholic alone. Let them not necessarily suffer on their own, but for some reason, they will need to mature in a sense. They're going to need to get to their rock bottom. They're going to need to experience the pain and anguish that the alcohol and the mental health is brought into their life. They're going to have to lose maybe some relationships, maybe some jobs, maybe even part of their health. But if that's what it takes to them to get to the point when they realize they need help, that person at that point, when they're able to reach out, well, that's a turning point. And that's different for everybody, every alcoholic, and every family involved. And you hear it so often, the person has to meet rock bottom. What is their rock bottom? Does that mean being in jail? Does it mean getting 3 or 4 DUIs? Does it mean winding up in a hospital with bumps and bruises? Getting through a horrible detox where you've been vomiting for 3 or 4 days and you wake up and say, I just don't want to do this anymore. Hopefully your rock bottom won't be the end of your life. But before we get to that point, it's up to the alcoholic, and families have to realize it comes from within. No amount of pressure, no amount of anxiety or stress that you put on the alcoholic is really going to change that person until that person realizes they have nowhere else to go but up. On that note, families need to realize that sometimes they are the problem, or they're a part of the problem, a piece of the problem. They have to look at their loved one like they have a mental disability and approach it that way. So approaching it in a rational mindset might work for you in the real world, but it doesn't work for the alcoholic. And unfortunately, you have to let that person get to the point where they have to make the decision. They have no other choice but to get help. Now, if that makes sense, again, click on the link above, schedule a breakthrough call. I've helped thousands of alcoholics, and just as importantly, I've helped their families. And again, please like, share, and comment. We also have a Facebook group called Amanda, A Cautionary Tale of Alcoholism. And it's really turning into a really good support group, and we talk about these issues and so much more every day. And again, thanks for listening.